Hello there, and welcome once again to the Westmen Rebooted podcast. Uh, it's now the 28th of October, and today it's such a day, and there will be a few games today. In the Prem, nothing exciting, but I'll be watching El Clasico, hoping for Real Madrid to win, of course, as an avid Ancelotti fan. The last episode was the predictions, so then I don't know what this episode is about, but I think I promised that I'd do 5 episodes this season, including the prediction one, and then one at the end of the season. So 3 mid-season podcasts, and this is the first one of those 3. And I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. Well, I actually do. I know I'm going to talk about Everton and Premier League and La Liga and Bundesliga and whatever comes to my mind, really, I guess. So I'll start off with the Everton part, because it's been a big news in the last few days that we could be deducted 12 points should we be found guilty of FFP breaches. Because the Premier League has recommended that to be a punishment if we are guilty, and they've still not done anything about Man City at all. It's clear that they want to show the independent regulators that they apparently can regulate the league on their own by giving us a points deduction, which is quite ridiculous. Why do they want to regulate it on their own? I don't understand why they care about that so much. Well, maybe so that Man City won't be relegated, because if the independent regulators took over that case of Man City and punished them for now, whatever they do, I'm not sure what the independent regulators actually do. I guess they would punish, decide the punishment, I would imagine. So perhaps they want to retain control of their own regulation, so that teams that bring the Premier League too much money won't be relegated out of the league as a result of a punishment. And then they sacrifice us, Everton, so that they won't have to hand it over to the independent regulators to regulate the league. It's a bit of a tongue twister, isn't it? Regulate, at least for a Finn. I don't know if it's for a native English speaker, but it is for me anyway. But apart from the points deduction, all the investigation, all of that stuff, there's a lot of other stuff going on with Everton as well. Our chairman, Bill Kenwright, passing away, unfortunately, last week, and at the age of 76, I believe. It's a sad news, even though he wasn't necessarily a great chairman in terms of running the club. He was a true Toffee in his heart, and and a very good person. So it's I have seen some Evertonians on the social media even celebrating it, because that means he's not our chairman anymore. But yeah, I did not want him to be our chairman, but I did also not want it to end like this. Yeah. So rest in peace to Bill Kenwright. Another Everton news: we performed quite so well this season. Actually, we should be top 6, something like that. We should be if we had been clinical, finished the chances that we have been expected to by expected goals, and not conceded slightly more than we should have done according to the expected goals. And sorry, Sean Dyche can't be blamed for the unclinicality. It's the fact is that we have Calvert-Lewin, who's a clinical finisher. Doucouré can score goals, certainly has done quite well since we appointed Dyche. Beto is what he scored 10 goals a season in Serie A twice, so I guess he can score them, but so far he's not really been clinical. He scored 1 goal, it was in the League Cup, and he's had chances in the league after that, quite a few indeed, and hasn't managed to score there yet, but maybe when he gets his first league goal it boosts his confidence. But the fact is that he's our second striker at the moment, behind Calvert-Lewin. And not a second striker as in a position, but in terms of the pecking order and rotation, he's a backup currently. And then we have Yusuf Shermiti, for whom we paid 15 million in the summer, which is just absolutely absurd to pay 15 million for someone who's barely going to get any minutes. He needs to go out on loan, and I'm struggling to see how that deal was ever one that we should have done. It reminds me of Moise Kean. Well, for him we luckily managed to get our money back because Juventus, for some reason, wanted him back. But if we're not going to play Shermiti, he's not going to get us any profit, is he? Because if he goes out on loan to the Championship, scores 10 goals a season, goes out on loan to Liga, to a bottom half club, scores 12 goals a season, I don't think anyone's going to pay more than 20 million at the absolute most for him. And then we're playing with one striker, and we have Calvert-Lewin, Beto, and Shermiti, and also Mopé on loan at Brentford. And we also have Lewis Dobbin, a young academy graduate of ours, and Tom Cannon, of course, also. It's a ridiculous amount of strikers we have, and then we play only one striker. So I don't see the point in having signed Yusuf Shermiti. It really just didn't make a lot of sense to me to pay 15 million for a striker that will really probably not start a single league game this season. But we've done well, and I'm confident we'll finish at the lowest 16th. But I say we'll finish either 13th, 14th, or 15th. That's my prediction as of now. Now the biggest surprises so far, positive surprises at least, are of course Tottenham. It's amazing how well they started. Was it like 7 wins and 2 draws? Oh, is it 8 wins already and 2 draws? I think so, yeah. Ange Postecoglou, the name of whom I terribly butchered by calling him Postecoglou, as though he was Turkish, but he's of course has Greek roots. He's an Australian, and I butchered his name there, but I didn't this time, so that's an improvement in the podcast. But yeah, they've been really good. Kane, they've not missed him at all, really, have they? Son, Richarlison, Maddison, Kulusevski, that front four is good enough on its own. There really isn't a lot, but I think it's on par with Liverpool's attack, because Son is not that far behind Salah. Then the other players, Kulusevski, Maddison, Richarlison, I think Maddison is better than Szoboszlai, better than McAllister. Kulusevski, I would say he's better than Luis Diaz, Diego Jota, Darwin Nunez. What else do they have? I don't know. And Richarlison, I think, is pretty much on par with Luis Diaz and Darwin Nunez and what was the last guy? Diego Jota. So I'd say they have as good an attack as Liverpool, but their tactics are more attacking, and they manage to make more out of their attacks because they're playing in a more positive and more attacking way, more explosive way than Liverpool, who still, well, they could play a lot more attacking, but that's not the way Klopp likes his cup of tea. So, well, they do the way they do, but the fact is their midfield has McAllister and Szoboszlai, so it just, I think they should play more attacking, because playing the way they do now, McAllister and Szoboszlai in the midfield, they expose their defense a bit, especially that they don't have a proper number 6. They've got Gravenberch, they've got that Japanese guy, I don't remember what his name is, Endo or something like that. But they are not really top class number 6s. Not as good as Fabinho, or I don't know if they played Henderson as the number 6, but I'd say they both are better than both Gravenberch and Endo, or whatever his name is. Then Arsenal, they've got Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, and then the weakest link in their attack, Gabriel Jesus. So if they had a proper striker, not Gabriel Jesus, they would have a better attack than Spurs and maybe Liverpool. I think they have a pretty similar. It's difficult to judge who has a better attack or not, because I'm starting to think, I was about to say that Arsenal would have a better attack than Spurs if they had a proper striker, but then I wasn't so sure they would have a better attack than Liverpool. So does that mean I think Liverpool have a better attack than Spurs after all? I mean, Salah, Son, pretty level. Maddison, well, I don't know, because Liverpool play 4-3-3, and then Spurs play 4-2-3-1, Arsenal play 4-2-3-1. So it's difficult to judge, should I take Szoboszlai or McAllister as part of the front four? Is it, because I imagine they probably both sort of play as number 10s in possession, in attack. So it's difficult to really compare that. But if you just take front threes, Son, Richarlison, Kulusevski versus Salah, I don't know, Nunez seems to be on and off the starting lineup. And then there's Diogo Jota, the same thing. Luis Diaz is a pretty regular starter, I think. I'd say Luis Diaz and Kulusevski are pretty similar. Then Darwin Núñez and Richarlison and Diogo Jota are quite similar in terms of quality. So I think Spurs and Liverpool have a very level-headed attacks. But I would say the quality that Salah has over Son is made up by Maddison being a bit better than Szoboszlai and McAllister. So that's why I think that Liverpool don't have a better attack, but Spurs don't either. Then Arsenal, they've got Ødegaard, the second best midfielder in the league after De Bruyne, the second best playmaker anyway, attacking midfielder after De Bruyne. They've got Saka, not that far behind Son and Salah, but a bit, I would say. The Ødegaard, I'd say, is a tad bit better than Maddison. A tad bit better. Martinelli, I would say, is on par with Richarlison. As we've seen in the Brazil national team, he's behind Richarlison in the pecking order, so that's a big argument in favour of Richarlison for all the Arsenal fans crying there, Martinelli is clear of Richarlison. Richarlison has scored 1 goal. Martinelli has scored 15. Well, they're playing different teams and under different coaches in different systems. And Arsenal have Gabriel Jesus as basically a false nine that just keeps missing chances and hitting posts from which they deflect to other Arsenal players, or hitting the keeper from which they deflect to the other 3 attackers, and then they score. So he's their main creator because he misses the chances, and then they deflect off to another Arsenal player. But yeah, they're essentially about false nine in Gabriel Jesus. Spurs play Son as a pretty traditional sort of a striker. He doesn't make space for the wingers really. I don't know. I've not really kept an eye that sharply on Spurs. I'm not really sure about the movement that happen in possession. He might make space for them, but I don't think he's a false nine really. Liverpool, I don't think they really play with a false nine. Well, they do when they have Cody Gakpo in their front 3 as the central attacker. Then they do play with that false nine, don't they? With Darwin Núñez or Diogo Jota, I don't think so. But yeah, I actually don't know if City have a better attack than these 3 teams. I mean, yeah, Erling Haaland, but well, De Bruyne, yeah, he's injured. Well, I guess he's got to be counted. But then it's Foden and Grealish or Doku. And Grealish and Doku both are worse than Martinelli, Richarlison, and the Jota, maybe. Jota, they're pretty much on par, aren't they? They are, yeah. They're on par with them, actually. They're not worse. Well, Doku is a bit worse, but really huge, but still, Pepe's starting Doku over him because I don't know why, but I don't really rate Doku. Then De Bruyne is obviously the best midfielder in the league. Haaland is the best striker in the league, and Foden is quite good as well. So yeah, I would say they have a better attack than these three other teams or anyone else either in the league. Chelsea have been quite underwhelming. Well, like Everton, they performed well but not managed to take their chances and maybe being quite unlucky with the goals they've conceded. But I think they'll turn it around to some extent and get top 8 at least. Yeah, and United have been quite underwhelming too. But there is just not only in the result, it's also in the performances. They just about beat Sheffield United, and I think the stats said that Sheffield United were the better team, which is quite remarkable. They had a good season last season, so I don't know what's happened behind the scenes that has made them worse this season. I don't know if it's the Sancho situation, the Greenwood situation, the Anthony situation. Of course, there's a lot of the pitch stuff that may have taken the spotlight off the pitch and has taken their focus off the pitch, and that shows on the pitch. Rashford hasn't been anywhere near as good as he was last season. Bruno hasn't been good. The wingers, any of them. Højlund hasn't scored a league goal yet. So it's their attack is. I mean, they are all quality players in their attack, but they're not performing to their level, and that's what's hurting them. And well, with Chelsea, I mean, they've got Nicholas Jackson. He started the season quite well, but then he's not really done anything special. Sterling had the one hat-trick against Burnley, I think, and not really done anything since or before that. Modric has had a couple good games now, and then there's, I don't know, maybe when Nkunku gets fit, they might start scoring more goals, taking their chances more. I don't know, we'll see. But it's just their squad doesn't really look like a squad that would finish top 4, does it? It's not a lot of top players there. So they're actually performing better than I would have thought with the squad they have now. But we'll see if they can turn it around. I think they can finish top 8. Aston Villa have been really good. Brighton have been quite good as well. So it won't be easy. In La Liga, Girona are on top of the league, which is quite something. But Real Madrid have indeed a game in hand, as do Barcelona, and it's the El Clasico. So if it's draw, I think Girona stay on top of the league. I'll actually check that right now. So standings, and yeah, they would be 2 points clear of Real Madrid if the El Clasico is a draw. If Real Madrid win, then they also move first. If Barcelona win, they move second, so Girona would stay first. So it's quite a big game actually today. It's in Barcelona, so it will be a good game to watch, hopefully, and hopefully in favor of Real Madrid. In Bundesliga, it's been a really ridiculous season there, hasn't it? I mean, Sergio Guerrasi scoring like 14 goals in 7 games or something like that. I'll get the table here. So yeah, Leverkusen first, then Stuttgart and Bayern and Dortmund. That's the top 4. And yeah, Guerrasi has 14 goals in 8 games. That is absolutely ridiculous. He surely can't keep that up the whole season. His expected goals has been 7.53 and he's got 14 goals. He can't keep that up the whole season. He might be the top scorer. Kane's 5 behind him. He might be the top scorer come the end of the season, but he surely can't keep that pace up for long. But yeah, Xabi Alonso's Leverkusen have looked really good. Stuttgart have been quite good, yeah, as well, but I think that's a lot of that comes down to Guerrasi. Bayern haven't been bad, not lost a game. Dortmund had the same record as Bayern. And Bellingham, of course, has been absolutely ridiculous in the start of the season for Real, and I don't know how long he can keep that pace up either. Probably not for too long. And then Vinicius and Rodrigo have got to take more responsibility and more goal contributions. But I think this podcast is really at the end now, because I can't really think of anything else to talk to. So bye for now.